I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank like it's intertwined. Flow too real, hit 'em with a rhythm rhyme. Tim song, 'cause it's cold.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So pretty much where we left off on the last video was pretty much finishing up all the brake lines, the brake line tuck that I did on the all-wheel drive EK sedan. So as you guys know, the all-wheel drive sedan now has the full brake lines done, and you guys can pretty much see this is the way it's going to be laid out, and this is the way it's going to pretty much look. I'm just waiting for some of these clips to show up so that we can finish it off here and reposition some of the lines so that way they flow more, and that way it follows the angle. I'm still waiting to cut those lines down there, but as I stated before, I need to drop the rack and pinion and the subframe, but we'll do that once pretty much we're done in the engine bay as far as the whole brake system, clutch lines, and honestly trying to figure out this whole radiator and the intercooler setup. But that we'll get into on the next video. The video that we'll be doing on this one is actually on the right-hand drive Da7, the ZXi. A lot of you guys have reached out to me on Instagram and even on TikTok, wanting to know some information on it. And pretty much I just felt like I'll give you guys some information on it, of what's done to it and what my future plans are for this car. And on the next video I may be doing will be on the Domani. The Domani, honestly, I don't really think I'll be doing a video on it. I may throw it in, you know, on the next video as we're working on the all-wheel drive EK sedan. But as you guys can see, pretty much this Da7, the right-hand drive, is honestly 100% almost stock. So let me go ahead and open the hood and pretty much let you guys get a little closer glimpse of what's done to it, and pretty much just show you guys and give you guys some details of my plans and what's done to this car as of right now. So as you guys can pretty much see, this car has a single cam ZC engine along with an LSD single cam ZC transmission. Yes, the transmission is a ZC LSD. These transmissions are very rare to find, especially for the single cams. And the only reason why this car is a single cam is because in Japan not everything was a B series. They actually did it for fuel economy, and that was the reason why they swapped in the single cam engines. A lot of these cars actually also came carbureted, and thank God this one is not carbureted, just due to the fact that it would be a pain in the ass in reality to try to tune both carburetors on it. Yeah, you know, like they say, it's like kind of like tuning ITBs and stuff like that, but in reality it's really not. It sucks when, especially with speed and everything else, this car pretty much catches some good speed and gets good mileage for it being like just single cam, and especially being a big body car, this actually pulls very good for it. But yeah, you know, as I stated, you know, it is a single cam ZC. You know, it comes with the factory AC system and stuff like that. This one does have headers, and pretty much that is all that's really done to this car as far as the engine. Yeah, it does have the brand new Cusco strut bar. It does have the JDM headlights. This also has the OEM JDM, actually not the OEM ones, but the JDM license plates. These are the old school ones where they do light up. It does have a plate in the back that pretty much lights up the license plates, and all this will turn green. The car also has a replica lip. I believe it's a charge speed replica lip for the DA, or I should say it is a DA lip. This replica was made from a legit lip that a friend of mine actually had produced. He had very limited quantities produced for this lip, and should I say, it is an expensive lip. It was very expensive for it just being a lip to purchase for this car, which is the reason why I'm not slammed, I'm not low and stuff like that. Yeah, the car has a good height and stuff like that when you put the Mugens back on, but this is the reason why I pretty much did that, was because I did not want to destroy my lip. And then the car currently has Workmeisters. They're 15x8 plus 25. I believe it's a R-disc hub type for the wheels to help it clear the big brake kits that usually are installed, that are not installed. But this car does have a big brake kit that I installed personally. When I first bought the car was actually slammed and pretty much just tossed on its behind. It used to have shortened spindles, which I still currently have. I still have the shortened spindles for this car, just in case I ever decide to go with the slam look again, if I ever destroy this lip. But plans are is to not destroy this lip, because it is an expensive lip to reproduce. Yeah, I make carbon fiber parts and everything else, and I can easily have it reproduced, but I did promise my friend of mine that I wasn't going to do that, because he's the one that actually created this lip, I mean the replica of it, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, every other douche out there and just make money off of stuff, you know. I would rather make this lip still an optional piece and basically hard to find, because not many of them are out there, and I really don't want to see a lot of Integras with these lips on there. Sorry for the glare of the light and everything else. The sun is beaming out here right now, and pretty much it's just taking over the quality of the camera. But as you guys can pretty much just see, you know, fitment on the car is very good. You know, it is pretty much flush. It does have some camber on it, which I'll be adjusting. I need to adjust it, get some camber kit, so that I can bring the camber back out of it. The car is lowered on Godspeed Monomax SS, I believe, or Monomax suspension. It is 36 weight dampening. It does have a RSR Tanabe medallion, I believe it is, and it does have Type R function 7 LCAs. Also, the car does have bronze glass, OEM bronze glass from Japan, and it also has the OEM window visors, and then it also has the visor for the roof. As far as anything, really, pretty much the car is almost 100% stock, just exception of some mods and stuff like that. And honestly, it's a very good daily. I do drive it, you know, as a daily. Unfortunately, I gotta fix the AC system on the car. The AC system on this car recently just gave out, and I still gotta search for the compressor, because I'm not sure if it's a single cam, I can pull it off of EF chassis, or if I have to pull it off a different chassis. But the plans for this car pretty much is honestly to drop it down more, put my other wheels on, which I have in the garage, which I'll show you guys, and then that way we can pretty much get it ready for the show coming up. So as far as interior, as you guys can see, interior is honestly very, very clean for its age. Car is 30 years old, I believe it is. I'm not sure if it's an 88 or an 89, but that's the year that they have it in Japan, because as they produced them before we produced them here in California. The car does have a fast line shifter paired with the Rhd shift knob, along with a Rhd steering wheel that I got from a good friend of mine, Fatty Mike. And then along with just an NRG setup. It does have OEM optional carpets, but at the end of the day, that is pretty much it, aside from the Broadway mirror that we put onto it. But yeah, pretty much this is all that's really done to this car. My plans for this car, I do have a JDM subwoofer that I'm going to put into it. It is a Kenwood subwoofer that will go under the seat. I do have the JBL Gathers rear speaker deck speakers that will be replacing the Kenwoods in the back. I'm still debating whether I'm going to actually do that or not, because at the end of the day, the other Gather speakers are actually brand new in box. They were an old school part, new old stock part that I found in Yahoo, Japan. And honestly, that was just pretty much the reason why I bought them, was because I really wanted to make this car really something different and stand out. But there is, you know, a lot of those speaker setups out there. But pretty much, let me go ahead and show you guys those speakers, and that way you guys can pretty much just see what I was talking about. So in Japan, I'm not sure if some of you guys know that or not, but this car, or these cars should I say, in Japan cars, right-hand drives, you do not need to use the clutch pedal to start the cars. They're factory wired in already, so all of them do that. They turn on basically without using the clutch. But as you guys will see, I'll turn on my signal right now. And this is the speakers itself. So each one does the same thing. You can use them, they come on when the hazards are on and stuff like that. You can use them for braking, or you can use them as running lights, which is what I use them for. I use them as running lights, and when they're running, basically they turn blue, which you won't be able to see right now, but turn signals are basically bronze or orange, and then as they're daytime running, they're pretty much green or blue. So we'll turn off the car now and pretty much turn the switch back off. But at the end of the day, guys, pretty much the car is honestly very much stock. There's really no modifications to the car, no power wise or any of that stuff, except for just the headers, and that is honestly it. Headers and exhaust that this car honestly has. The reason for that is because I still haven't made up my mind on what I'm going to do with this car, and I'll give you guys a short explanation of. So some of you guys may know I do have this car for sale, and I'm actually asking 13 grand for this car. It will not come with the wheels. It will not come with an Rhd setup. I will put a different setup on it. I may put some other wheels on it, but most definitely will not come with the steering wheel setup, and honestly my license plates or the M7s for that price. I've had people offer me already 11 grand, which is a great price, but at the end of the day, I feel like the 13 grand for this car is honestly what I really want for this car. I do have it valued currently right now with Haggerty, and it is appraised at $18,000. Don't tell me why. They appraised it that way, and that's the coverage that I have on the car also. So if I ever get in an accident or anything like that, the car will be paid out to me of 18 grand, and I get to keep the car also. So that is the main reason why I don't really know what I'm gonna do, because I am gonna try to sell this car. There's no really specific reason why or any of that stuff. It's not a money issue or anything like that. But at the end of the day, honestly guys, as you guys can see, where I live at, I have a lot of HOA fees and stuff like that, and this is an HOA spot, and I really don't want to try attract a lot of attention, which currently I already have. There's another gentleman down here that has, just like me, a bunch of cars, and he's actually been fined already, which is what I'm trying to avoid. I actually spoke with him about a week ago, and he told me that he got a fine for it because he has a lot of cars. And at the end of the day, it's just something that I do not want to get into. I do not want to get fined by the HOA or any of that stuff. And at the end of the day, I would rather make some room here, because I have a lot of cars. I have the Rhd Integra, I have the Domani and my truck, I have my son's car here, and then also having my all-wheel drive EK sedan here at the end of the day, and plus my wife's daily car. That is the main reason why I've decided just honestly just to keep trying to sell it. So I have it for sale and everything else. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll deal with HOA, and I'll try to keep it as neat as possible and as organized as possible, as of what I've always tried to do. As far as future plans, honestly guys, I really don't have any future plans as far as really performance wise or anything like that. I did at first want to do a full B swap in it, but at the end of the day, I didn't want to ruin the originality to the car. So my goal, honestly, if I do anything to this car, is honestly just to prep it for this car show that's coming up on the 30th at the LA Convention Center, which honestly is just repainting the lip, repainting the mirrors. I gotta take them off, prep them correctly, and repaint them, because as I stated, the car was painted before, and honestly, those are two things that were never really done correctly. As far as the lip, I did it myself. I did it in a rush just to paint match it because it was primered, and trying to color match this paint on this car is not the same one as the USDM paint that we have here. So that is my goal, is honestly just to pretty much repaint the lip, prep the car for the show, which is on the 30th again, possibly paint the bumper along with the mirrors, and honestly swap out these wheels. These wheels honestly do not go with this car. The only reason why I took off the M7s was because honestly guys, I was destroying them. I was putting them through hell and back in the best way I can actually put it on, and I was really creating a lot of damage to them with the weather. I was driving them in the rain, pretty much going to mud, dirt and everything else, and honestly maintaining them polished and clean, it was honestly a pain. So what I'm going to end up doing is pretty much just swapping the tires out from the M7s, put the M7s up, store them after I get them back from my friend that actually did my other wheels, my spinner spokes up there. Those wheels are actually going to be going on the Integra. From there, I'll be fixing the fitment on it, lowering it some more, making sure that I don't destroy that lip, because as I stated, it is pretty much expensive to replace. And honestly, I would have to either get it remade, which I promised a friend that I was going to do, or pretty much just source another one. That is honestly my only option, is sourcing another one. But pretty much that is the only real thing that I really want to do to it. Aside from upgrading the speakers in the back, remove those Kenwood light up ones, and honestly throw in the original ones, which are the Gathers speaker pods that go back there, because originally this car did come with the Gathers radio system and all that, but in order for you to run it, you can only run certain channels on it. You got to run a high frequency an antenna on it or something like that, or a adapter. And honestly, I really don't want to do that, so I opted out just to pretty much put a touchscreen in it and do it that way. And I really want to try to upgrade the speakers on it. I do have some other stuff that I'll show you guys right now that I want to put in there, and I'll get to that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and close my garage, and we'll go in there and show you guys inside the house what I have for this car. So pretty much what I have for this car, it's more of optional accessories for this car that I pretty much hunted on Yahoo Japan, and honestly either try to source around in Japan from a friend. But at the end of the day, what I want to put into this car, honestly, is like I said, it's just optional stuff, more sounds, radio, speakers, and stuff like that. So what I have for this car is pretty much the OEM replacement speakers, which are the Gathers rear deck ones. These are specific to the Integra, the DA sedans, and that's what I really want to try to put in there. So if the car does sell, they will sell with that, or pretty much I'll put the Kenwoods back on, whichever one sells with it, whichever one they really want, and depending on the price, of course, they'll go on it. These are brand new, as I stated before. I also want to try to put my Kenwood satellite speakers on it, as far as just upgraded speakers. And I also want to put the Kenwood subwoofer that goes on the bottom of the seat, but unfortunately we'll run that in the back of the car still, because I think that's probably the best way, even though it's made for the seat. I'll just extend the wires and stuff like that, because it does have a wire for the remote, which is pretty long, and I think will reach to the front as far as bass and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much the only real thing I want to get done to that car. So the list that I have to do pretty much for this whole thing, in all honesty, is pretty much just try to figure out the whole speaker situation, make it sound better for the show, repaint the lip, also repaint the mirrors, swap out the tires from the M7s to the spinner spokes, and then pretty much just either sand stuff down, polish it out, and see what needs to be touched up. I know definitely the hood needs to be touched up, as it wasn't done professionally, and I did it here in my garage, and pretty much it was done with automotive paint in a can. So that is one of the things I really need to do, because you can still see some of the fine scratches from when I did the body work to it and all that. As I stated, I'm not a professional painter or anything like that. I just really try to do things myself, and at the end of the day, the car still looks good. I know it needs some touches and stuff like that to make it a lot better, but hopefully you guys like this video. I know it wasn't the most exciting stuff and all that, and hopefully some of this answers what's done to the car. I don't think I'll be doing a video as far as the Domani, because at the end of the day, the Domani is 100% stock, except for suspension, wheels, and a lip maybe. Other than that, car is 100% stock, and there's really no point. The Integra is honestly stock again, but it has more modifications, and I felt like that one would be more interesting than just hearing what's done to it. But as you guys see, it is a single cam, and it is not a B series as most people will think. At the end of the day, I'm still super happy with the car. Prices are going up through the roof right now in Japan for these cars, and I'm stoked that I was able to pick one up at a good price due to a good friend of mine. But with that being said, guys, I think this is where we're pretty much going to end this video. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you guys on the next one when we start figuring out this whole intercooler setup and this whole cooling system. But also, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So unfortunately, after just the last clip, I had to cut it short. I got some news the following day after just making this video pretty much and recording this, that I actually lost a good friend of mine, which I had just mentioned in the video. His name was Michael Atkins. A lot of us knew him as Fatty, or some of the close friends that knew him as Fatty. Unfortunately, he passed away due to liver failure, and I just really want to dedicate this video to him. I've known him for almost 15 plus years. He was actually one of the first people that I looked up to, getting into all this car scene stuff. He taught me the difference between real parts and, truthfully, the replica parts. Nothing against real replica parts or anything like that, but at the end of the day, he taught me what was more valuable, and he honestly taught me the value of a friendship. You guys will get to see his picture and pretty much his car. That pretty much inspired me to pretty much just build cars and have the love and passion and be a true enthusiast of the cars. But again, guys, we'll think we're gonna end the video here and pretty much just see if we can keep busy on this car. Honestly, I'll be saying this now, I will not be selling the Integra anymore. Integra will be pulled off, and it's just something that I'm going to do for him because he actually really loved that car. And I'm also going to be purchasing a set of wheels that he had on his old car. So hopefully I can get them, and I can get them back in my hands, so that way I can keep it as a memory of him. But again, guys, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time.